Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May 17, 2017 edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, and this week actually featured some interesting developments in the WWE, at least on Monday Night Raw. As I've done in recent weeks and will continue to do, I'm only reporting and reviewing events which are important and move the story along. I suppose while the WWE does this brand split, meaning that different wrestlers are on each show, it is rare to have many developments on both shows at the same time. What I mean by this is that usually one show has new storylines which are going on, with new feuds beginning, while the other is more or less killing time until their upcoming pay-per-view. At this point in time, Raw is the interesting show, while Smackdown Live is far less interesting. This will probably switch again next week or the week after. Monday Night Raw is more interesting right now because their next pay-per-view show is 3 weeks away, so there's lots happening before that. This week on Monday Night Raw, we learned a lot about what will take place at the next Raw exclusive pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. The show opened with General Manager Kurt Angle coming down to the ring and informing the crowd that Braun Strowman needs surgery on his elbow and could be out for up to 6 months. I know that I said on my very first introductory podcast that I won't be sharing rumors of wrestling which I read on other wrestling websites. There is one person, however, whose insight I will refer to from time to time, as he's pretty much the most respected wrestling critic and historian out there, having lots of respect by other wrestlers and reviewers. The person I'm referring to is Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave's been reviewing professional wrestling since the early 1980s and also reviews pretty much every wrestling organization and program out there, not just sticking to the WWE. What Dave says is generally correct, and this is the first time on my program that I'll be sharing his information to my listeners. Meltzer was giving his thoughts on the Braun Strowman situation and believes that Strowman's 6-month absence is a work, meaning that it's fake and part of the storyline to state that he'll be out that long. The actual length of time Meltzer feels is actually closer to the 4 to 8 week mark, suggesting that he'll be back in time for SummerSlam. The WWE probably overestimated this because it will make Braun seem really strong when he returns much earlier than they announced. Returning to Monday Night Raw, with Strowman out of the picture for a while, the WWE needed to come up with another angle for the upcoming pay-per-view show. Their solution, as Kurt Angle informed us, was to have a fatal 5-way match to determine the new number 1 contender for Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship. This fatal 5-way match will take place at Extreme Rules. Kurt Angle then announced the competitors, which included Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns. The 5 men then came down to the ring following the announcement before a brawl ensued among the men. A little bit later in the show, Dean Ambrose defended his Intercontinental Championship against The Miz, which ended up in a disqualification of Ambrose, allowing him to retain his title. Later backstage, The Miz confronted Angle and demanded another match, and Kurt responded by giving him another match for the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules. Alexa Bliss then came out and discussed her dominance in the WWE, only to be interrupted by former Women's Champion Bayley. After some heated words, the two came to blows, with Bliss finding a kendo stick to hit Bayley with. Shortly after this encounter in the ring, Kurt Angle found Bayley backstage to see how she was feeling and informed her that she will get her title rematch with Bliss at Extreme Rules in a kendo stick on a pole match. Another match had Finn Balor squaring off against Roman Reigns. To me, the logical outcome for this match would have Bray Wyatt, who is hinting at a feud with Finn Balor, come down to the ring and attack him, giving Roman the victory. This way, both wrestlers still look strong. Instead, in a move which doesn't make sense to me, Reigns beat Balor clean in the ring, illustrating that Reigns is better than Balor, at least right now. Another notable moment from Raw was that Goldust turned on R-Truth by blindsiding him in the ring and continuing to pummel him. This action should signify the end of the tag team The Golden Truth. Moving on now to SmackDown Live the following evening. And as I've stated earlier, this was a show with very little development, as the company is just biding time until their pay-per-view this upcoming weekend. Most of the feuds were simply reinforced with more attacks or with promos saying how person or persons A will beat person or persons B. And as per usual, with a pre-pay-per-view episode, we even got to witness another contract signing for a match. Wow! The only new feud we learned of this week compared to last was the announcement that Sami Zayn would face Baron Corbin at this week's pay-per-view Backlash. This feud wasn't even really new, but the announcement for this match was. And if you've tuned into Smackdown at some point in the past few weeks, then you don't even need to bother catching this episode. Besides this one new match, absolutely nothing changed. Alright folks, that about covers it. Make sure you tune in this weekend for my bonus upcoming pay-per-view predictions show. I'll see if I can fare better this month after getting 4 out of 7 correct for last month's show. Please feel free to write any comments or questions below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you liked what you heard. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.